been living in this area here where my old house was since 1919. I was a little baby then, 3 years old, when we moved there, and we had 30 acres here at one time to farm. So we farmed all the 30 acres, my father and mother, and us kids had to help them out. So that's what happened there. Now the road kicked me out, so I had to build a new house here.
Okay, the next slide, please. Route 85 was originally planned in the 1950s. I think many of you property owners for a long time around here remember that it was always on your deeds and on all the maps, but it had never come to fruition. It is scheduled to be open the entire 18 miles by the end of 1994. It will be a 6-lane freeway with a 46 to 48-foot median.
We've lived here about 14 years, and when we first moved here, I saw that on the map, actually, and I called Caltrans up and I said, "What's this proposed thing that would go by the back of the house we're thinking of buying?" And they said, "Oh, don't worry about that. That's a proposed freeway that'll never be built."
My name is Vicki Franconi, and I've lived at this house for the last 15 years, since 1976. And when we bought this property, we were aware that there was a freeway on the maps, but it had been on the maps for so many years, already about 10, 15 years. Actually, it's been more than that. It's been about 20 years before we moved here that it had been on the maps. So personally, we didn't think we were going to get it.
We knew that in order for it to be done, an enormous amount of money had to be raised. And everyone was thinking, well, how are they going to raise this money? Nobody really had an idea. And this freeway thing didn't really come about, start talking about it until the last maybe like 7 or 8 years or so. And then they raised the tax and sales tax for this area.
First found out this freeway was coming 45 years ago. We were going to put in a service station there by one of the gas companies was going to build this service station for us, and they were going to pay us so much a month, and they were going to build it and everything. And we went forward as the planning commission, and they said, "Sorry, you sure got a nice plan there, but we should have a service station out in that area, but we can't let you because the freeway's coming through there in 2 years." Now this was 45 years ago, so that's a long ways back. So what have they been waiting for? I think this freeway's a big damn joke.
My name is Angelo Torquato, and this is Torquato Vineyards in Los Gatos. In 1976, we leased this land from Caltrans. They were going to build a freeway then, but they didn't have it set up. It wasn't on their priority list. And so we started growing the grapes and taking care of the land since 1976 till now.
June Slade, and we've lived here in the area 30 years. It was a dead-end street, and I mean, we had hardly any traffic. There was just, these 3 houses were just being built when we moved here. It was wonderful.
Nice, friendly neighborhood is nowhere to go.
Will you describe what this area was like when you first moved here?
Orchards. As a matter of fact, it was very difficult to even find Keto Road when you're trying to find it.
What's your name?
Earl Gio.
You're Earl Gio. How long have you been here?
41 years.
41 years. And how big was the property originally?
Yeah, we had about 60 acres used to be here.
60 acres?
Yeah. And now it's about 30 acres.
And that's a $50 million interchange project and includes the widening of Lark Avenue. And also we're constructing a full interchange at Baskin Avenue and an undercrossing at Oka Road and the bridges over Las Gatas Creek.
Well, my name is Cheryl Jensen. I'm a planner by profession. I was probably the first planner to actually study the potential for generating traffic in this corridor when I worked for the city of San Jose. That was in 1973 and 74. What I discovered at that time was that the corridor really is not all that viable as a transportation corridor because it takes you nowhere you want to go.
3 lanes in each direction. And we have also been able to open the Route 85 that's part of this 18 miles of new freeway. We've opened the segment between Oak Ridge Mall down in South San Jose and down to Cottle Road, the Great Oaks area around the Monterey Highway.
Right here it was all field. Everything, all right here was field. Across the street was field. This neighborhood right under here was all field. A little like apple orchards and peaches, things like that. It was basically farm area, and all Santa Teresa right here was all farmland.
Well, this valley in World War II, about that time, it reached its peak in farming. There was just trees of apricots,
This
prunes.
was all farming, everything.
And so little by little, anyway, the industry and houses and whatever kept pegging away at it. They built these houses. They'd come in and find a 100-acre block and just fill it up with houses as fast as they could and move on to the next one. And then industry and so on. And the famous Silicon Valley now they've used it all up.
When they come in and take this away from us, then what we're going to have to do is just go someplace else and get grapes, and either grow grapes or buy grapes. We'll have to move immediately, so that's what we're looking to moving.
This will be 2 lanes to the east and 2 lanes to the west, and it will be 4 feet higher than it currently is. And then we'll have some turn lanes, 2 left-hand turn lanes that will add to the access. If you're coming from the Winchester area and want to go northbound on 17, you'll have designated turn lanes to do that. Interchange the Las Gatas Boulevard.
A small street with small houses and nice neighbors, and we were raising our kids here. And now we've got half a street, and it looks like a bomb went off. It's horrible. Well, I think Caltrans, first, when they came in here, and they said, we're needing to take the corner of your lot, and they offered us $1,500 and said, that's what we're going to give you for the corner of your lot. And I laughed. That's a joke. And they said, if you don't do it, and take our offer, we're going to take you to court, and we will take it by, I forgot the word they used.
Public domain.
Eminent domain.
Yeah, and they said, and you'll have to pay the court costs, and you will lose money, you'll have to pay money, and we will take your property.
Whenever I've dealt with people in concern to Highway 85, we have never gotten the same people all the way through, and it really causes a problem. If you tend to have to keep retelling everybody what you've done so far, it's re-educating them on the whole situation, and it's very frustrating.
Like us here too. I mean, one time we get a letter saying, well, we need your property. Then it isn't too long, no, we're going to zigzag around it. Then they come back, well, we need this. That shows what kind of work they do. I said to the man when I talked to him, I said, I don't think their right hand knows what their left hand is doing.
The business of doing this kind of building is complex, and so if you were to call us and try to get to the person who handles it, that's a bit of a job sometimes. I mean, we have 4,000 employees in the Bay Area, plus if you have 2 agencies that are handling the project and you know the Transportation Authority down there, then of course there are going to be difficulties. No more difficult than calling IBM and asking for the guy who handles the 386 chip.
And I talked to a family down the street whose home is gone now, and they were in tears because they thought they were going to jail. And, you know, I mean, that's not right.
Where will the freeway go through here? Where will the freeway
Right through here. This is where it's coming through, right through here.
Right through here?
We parallel the railroad tracks. In fact, you're standing in the right lane going south right now. So am I.
Before we rented this space, the landlord told us he checked with city the freeway won't tear down this building, only the next building. That's why we rent, we have a lease with him. But right now we don't know because since if freeway pass from here, maybe we will get more customer, maybe we will lose customer, which we don't know.
Do you like the idea of the freeway or no?
Well, that's a good idea because it's too crowded now, and always a traffic jam.
Would you want the freeway to come or no?
I guess yes. Yes.
Why?
Because if I will have much more access to any other freeways and going faster to my work.
First order of work the contractor will begin is to clear and grub the corridor, which means to remove the large trees and shrubs, and of course, in some cases, some of the garbage that has been dumped along the corridor.
Well, if the house was an old house, well, when we bought it, we thought it was 30 years old, and we bought it in 1919, so it was a pretty old house. It was a nice house, very nice house.
It was 4-bedroom, really. It had a couple of bedrooms were about 20 by 20. They were big size, and a couple of other smaller ones. But in square footage, it wasn't all that much. It was under 2,000 square feet. It wasn't a big home. Had a small basement.
No upstairs.
It had the old-fashioned kitchen, with a big pantry and all, which was nice. High ceilings, 12-foot ceilings and all that.
Yeah, 12-foot ceilings. There could have been room left, leave me alone, but they didn't do it for some reason.
On Route 85, they've got grade schools, you've got high schools. Along this route, you've got people backing right up to it. That's where they live. And it's been that way, and it's grown up that way because nobody expected this freeway to be built.
They started building and started filling these places up. And it was noisy, and it was messy, and it was dusty when you're right in it.
The amount of dust that would fall into these backyards was enormous. Our pool sweeper had to keep this thing running like 8 to 10 hours a day just to keep the dust out of the pool. And as you see, still, we got dust all over the place and dirt. And we have to change the filter bags all the time now.
My name is Elfrida Elliott. I think the Highway 85 is a fantastic project. I'm very, very impressed. I think they are bending over backwards as far as trying to help each city and listen to all the people's concerns. I think it's going to be very hard on the neighbors, and I think it's going to be, 2 years is a long time to live under construction conditions. But I think it's going to take a lot of patience, but I think it's going to be a beautiful job when they get done.
All the cities through which the 85 corridor came to try and come up with an aesthetic theme so that the sound walls would match or at least coordinate from city to city. And they chose a rustic theme in keeping with the Santa Cruz Mountains, which of course are adjacent to this corridor. You will have a brown block and it's F, and we do have a display up here in the front where you can see that block F all the way to Prospect Road. That will be your sound wall pattern and type. It will be plain brown without an accent band color. And then a buff colored accent band, and that buff is the block color A on our chart.
We're the only ones on this whole freeway that will be closed in on two sides. Because we'll be closed in on the back and on this side. You look out the front and you're going to see the sound wall, and you look out all the back and you'll see sound walls.
Sound wall.
It doesn't seem fair, but...
How I would describe that is if you go down to the Red Rock Canyons in southern Utah, and you, as a little tiny person, stand in that Red Rock Canyon with these cliffs beside you, and you speak, your echo will come back to you. And these are really wide spaces, but they're places that have very little vegetation or none. And because of that, all the hard surfaces reflect back and increase and magnify the sound. That's what they're creating out there, is these hard canyons. And the sound is going to echo throughout the whole valley.
You guys want to explain for the camera what it is that you're doing?
We're taking measurements of EMF, electric magnetic field. Upon her request, we come down here to take measurements of electric magnetic field. This is a service of PG&E that we do to customers that make requests for measurements of the EMF.
It is also a corridor for the transmission of the electricity, and it's a high voltage corridor. Well, at the same time, we're just beginning to discover that electromagnetic waves do cause childhood leukemia and brain cancers.
This pole was going to be right in back of my yard, and when my husband and I told the people to get off our property, they said, "That's tough, you're going to have that pole there and you don't have anything you can do about it." I found through my own experience that if you get your emotions mixed in, you become real hysterical, and they won't listen to you. In fact, they even try and throw it down your throat.
There's people right here, they could sit in their bedroom window and look right out and look down into the cars going on the freeway. That's pretty close. Even with a 14-foot wall, that's pretty close. But that's progress.
If you've been here since '55,
Yeah.
then you've seen this valley change a lot.
Yeah, that's why I want to get out.
You want to get out?
Yeah, I don't like it here anymore.
Why not?
Too many people. They're covering up farmland. And I never have liked it. I come from a farming family. I used to, my father used to have prune and apricot orchards and hay, and it's just all getting covered with asphalt and concrete and everything else, so I'm not very fond of it. And the smog and just everything. So I just, it's just my feelings. I was raised here, and I just think it's getting too overcrowded, and people don't care anymore, and that's just the feelings that I have, my personal feelings.
They've already really destroyed the Guadalupe. They've used that creek corridor for the Guadalupe, and they've just torn the thing apart. As they continue to build to the south, the Guadalupe habitat will just be decimated. They did it along Saratoga Creek to the north. If you look along Lawrence Expressway, that is just a total disaster there.
How do you think the freeway is going to affect the neighborhood in the long term here, the quality of life?
A lot. Pollution. I mean, that's my main thing. You can't be by a freeway and say that all that, the rubber dust, the exhaust from all those things, I mean, you just get by anywhere by a freeway and it's black dust everywhere. And I have 7 kids here that are going to grow up in a pollution environment, and I can't afford to move. So I'm not sure there's nothing you can do about it.
And it's not just contaminated with lead, it's contaminated with aromatic hydrocarbons. It's contaminated with the sulfites. It's very contaminated with a whole lot of things that cars produce, including asbestos from the brakes.
Haven't heard anybody say anything about that subacute hospital sitting at Sousa Lane. It's right at the end of Sousa Lane. It's going to be right next to a freeway. They're going to have a 10-foot wall. It's going to be nasty, very nasty there.
I live on one of the new streets, which I think will be impacted fairly favorably by the closure of Pollard, and we won't have any through traffic onto there, and I'm looking forward to the freeway, being able to go to Blossom Hill in about half an hour and Cupertino and Mountain View in about half an hour.
And it'll also help me to get onto Highway 280 without going through a lot of street traffic.
My name's Dave Heidman. I own a house that'll be approximately 200 feet from the freeway. Backyard is up against the freeway. It's close to Saratoga Avenue, between Saratoga and Quito. And the impact on me would just be, the fear is it'll make a lot of noise and there may be pollution. I'm not very happy with that. But I lived here for 20 years, so I guess this is the price I'm paying.
Obviously there's going to be people that do back up to it that get noise, but I think it's been on our maps for so long, if they weren't aware of it, they should have been.
Coyote Valley in particular has areas of Class 1 soils, and it should be preserved for agriculture. But San Jose conditioned the development in that area on the building of this freeway. And so the freeway will be directly responsible for the loss of over 4,000 acres of Class 1 soil.
What I suspect will happen is they'll rezone a lot of the land along the freeway next to it from residential to C or something else, light industrial. and they'll start locating little shops and businesses along there.
What's going to happen is there's going to be a lot more people. Lots more people, I think. It's going to boom. It's going to grow like Morgan Hill's growing. This area right here is just poof. All the hills and stuff. They're going to start putting houses on the hills, like over at Alum Rock area. It's going to turn into big development, I think. And then people are want to move in, and there's going to be more traffic, and they're going to be glad that they put 85 in.
Now, if you look at the map, all these people are going to be pouring into the West Valley Freeway, and they're going to arrive in the West Valley, and they're not going to be able to get where they need to go because the routes are already occupied.
Yeah.
So what you've got is a piece of a transportation system that is going to bring disaster to the whole county's transportation system.
There are those of us out there, there are those people out there who don't have to listen to the people and what they want. There are those who know better than those people. Those people say, you don't want any freeways, you don't need any freeways, and you shouldn't have any. Now, those people have the luxury of saying those things. Caltrans doesn't have that luxury. We're a state agency, we have to be responsive. And the message we were getting from the people of Santa Clara Valley and other parts of California was, we need certain freeways built.
I believe we need freeways, all right, but it seems though that we build a new freeway and it's jammed up right away anyway.
Yeah, it'll make the traffic worse around the neighborhood here.
Will there be an interchange right here by the farm?
Yeah, interchange.
Do you think that might bring about more business?
Geez, I don't know about that. More business, more of a problem, huh? Traffic problem?
Specific questions regarding your property. Questions can be general or specific in nature. It can also be just here.
Well, I've only been to 3 meetings, and they have it well orchestrated and rehearsed, and they have the tax dollars. They're going to do what they want to do.
And I will be hitting the highlights of that in just a minute. Then we've given you what we call our sheet maps, and these are...
In the first place, Saratoga never needed a freeway, but for the people who live down near Gilroy, who work near San Francisco, they want a shortcut. Rather than living close to work or some rational way of doing things.
My opinion was there were 2 elections in the last 10 years. Both elections resulted in the freeway existing. If a no was on either one of these 2 elections, there'd be no freeway.
Why do you think people voted it in?
It's like most people tend to be uninformed.
Proposed maps. Pollard Road, McTen. Okay, this is a specific question behind someone's house, and they're concerned about the sound wall berm combination. I want to make sure that they have what they had originally been promised, so we will have to follow up through the field office with this home. Okay, next question. Here's a question. Will Pollard be 2 lanes in each direction? Yes, it will, and we will add you to the mailing list. Only half an interchange, I discussed that. Who decided Quito would have no? I discussed that. Why doesn't Saratoga Interchange have a cloverleaf?
The people behind it, we have done, like I say, a lot of work to find out who they are, and we've seen a pattern. The number of people that own property, number of people that are in the construction industry that own property have contributed a lot of money to it.
Developers in the South County are the ones that will benefit the most. There's supposed to be about 9,000 to 11,000 homes down in Coyote Valley that would be built in the event that the freeway is put in. And that's just going to make the problem of air pollution much, much worse.
One of the major forces that has been behind it is Caltrans. Caltrans decided that they could do a lot of work with people's money that they didn't have to come up with in Sacramento.
And every freeway is an invitation for companies just to expand more and build more, when in reality this area is saturated. And they know it, but they make no effort to provide no other transportation system. So the freeways are they're dinosaurs in this age. There's some other thing that has to be done, and they know what has to be done. Why they don't do it, I don't know. they know what the problem is, and they know how to solve it.
What is that problem?
Well, of course, it's some kind of rapid transit. They had rapid transit here for many years. Up until 1939, they had a train that ran from Chico, California to Los Gatos.
There used to be a streetcar back in the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there was. In fact, I got a picture of it somewhere, and it says so right in front of it.
Streetcar through here?
San Jose, Campbell, and Los Gatos.
Yeah, Saratoga,
Yeah.
Elmer Rock, clear up to Elmer Rock, it went, yeah. It was quite a...
Came through Campbell on that side of the creek, Los Gatos, right through the main town of Los Gatos, up Saratoga Road there, all the way to Saratoga, all the way down, what was that?
Saratoga Avenue, yeah.
All the way down Saratoga Road to Stevens Creek, and down to San Jose.
And where was it they branched off and went into Palo Alto? Around El Camino it was, I believe. You could ride that clear into Palo Alto at one time. And the automobiles took the play away in about the mid-30s, and that was a doomsday for them.
It was a very good system, and it was cheap. And but then in 1939, just before the war, it started disappearing. And then when the war came, it all disappeared. All the automobile companies, tire companies, white truck, they bought all the transit systems up and put them out of business.
And if we had, for example, put that money into the light rail system, we'd be using it now. You know, we would be. And people would be able to get places in an easier way. And we would be saving some agricultural land.
No, there's nothing I can do to stop it. I don't think anybody can do to stop it. You know, when you're, you know, myself, I feel like I'm just a little person in it now.
Only if the funds are cut off will the freeway be stopped. And I don't see that as a possibility at all.
Do you think that there's any way that this freeway can be stopped?
No, I don't. I do feel that we can fight to make it as clean as possible, and that they should work with the Clean Air Act and try and make the freeway aesthetically as clean as possible, and make it that way when the freeway is finished. But I don't think we can ever stop it. I think it's going. I see it on Cox Avenue. I don't see how it could possibly change it.
Well, you got planning commissions and all those guys supposed to help us out, ain't it? They should have seen if they could have left some farming here, maybe, instead of filling it all up with homes and roads. That's what they were for, ain't it? The planning commissions, to see that it was kind of worked out right, but they didn't worry about farming at all. They just knocked them down.